Good morning and good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of Before Coffee. It is Wednesday. That's right, we're finally starting, everyone, with our wacky and weird news, in which we have all the weird stuff going on in the world, so you are inspired by the oddities that exist in our existence, in our reality. This is the first and only international game show, Before Coffee, a father and daughter news podcast where we look up our stories right before the show starts. We just got caffeine in our bodies and we're learning to read and speak live on stream. Let's get into the wacky and weird headlines and spin that segue wheel. Today on Wacky and Weird Wednesday, the AIVD and the MIVD were wrong in the analysis about the invasion of Russia in the Netherlands. And silver collection found by chance in Edinburgh attic sells for almost 60,000 pounds at auction.
And greetings on Weird Wednesday. In the U.S., a skyscrapers evacuated in Manhattan's east side due to girders buckling. Plus, a man who lived in the National Forest for 8 years left 1,000 pounds of garbage.
Life-size robotic elephants replace live ones in a Hindu temple. Plus, a 1,000-kilogram mammal is wreaking havoc in Tasmania. And Neil the Seal is loved for it.
And Nigerian twins get married to twins. Plus, area woman, billboard lady finds a man.
In my culture news, a new Ali G movie has just finished filming. Is it going to be as weird as wacky as we remember? Probably.
And it's National Raspberry Day, so no, not that kind of raspberry, but oh well. No, it's National Raspberry Day, so get out there and pick them raspberries. Don't even take them in the house. Just eat them right off the vine. It is July 8th, 2026 on Before Coffee.
Kick You Day. National Kick You Day.
You know what this week is? We got to look forward to on Friday and maybe get ready for it. It's National Clarihoo Day. Remember Clarihoos, right? That's a limerick with like a limerick.
Oh, right.
It's like a limerick without the fifth line. So it's basically a limerick and you stop at the fourth line. That's
and
all it
you
is.
just completely cut people off and then you're and then you're just like really sad because it doesn't have a funny line.
Yeah. You have no idea.
That was so loud. Okay, let's roll our first segue.
We're singing our way through another day. Let's see.
It is tell a joke. Well, I guess you're already doing that, so we're already ready for that. Let's go into my first story, which is coming from the Netherlands. This is more of like wacky, kind of like, wow, isn't our world just wacky, you know? Wouldn't it have been a different place if people took things seriously? This is about the Dutch intelligence services on NOS News, who remained convinced until the last moment that Russia was very unlikely to invade Ukraine. This was due to an analysis based on a unique source within Russian security apparatus. That insider who was like, nah, it's not happening. We're not going to do that. And then I guess they were lying. Or they weren't on the know. This is what the Volkskrant, which is just folks newspaper, means in Dutch, is a reconstruction about the last months before the large-scale invasion that began on February 24th, 22. The newspaper spoke to 19 involved intelligence officers and senior officials. The Dutch intelligence even ended up with U.S. President Biden, who since the fall of 21 warned of an imminent Russian invasion. The Netherlands hoped to prevent a war by refusing to believe it could happen, I guess. In retrospect, many of those involved believe that it was precisely because of this that the Netherlands had the only small chance of preventing a war. If the US and Europe had jointly signaled to Russia that they were willing to go to military and economic extremes, that could have deterred Russia from ever invading, they argue. Another senior official says that due to the wrong analysis, European countries also did not provide additional support to Ukraine in the months leading up to the invasion because they didn't think it was actually going to happen. The Volkskrant article states that both the AIVD and the MIVD read the story. In the article, an involved AIVD member responded anonymously on behalf of both services. The analysis that a Russian invasion was not likely, the Dutch service is based on a unique source close to Russian President Putin. That proven source gave the access to the intelligence from Russian security apparatus and would be very valuable to Dutch services for many years. Yeah, we didn't see any troop movement into Ukraine. I don't know. Yeah, so I don't think we're invading Ukraine. According to AIVD and MIVD, the Russian troop buildup was to be seen as increasing pressure in negotiations with the West, not an invasion. It would not come to a real attack because then Putin would have lost his negotiating position. The American reading, however, was that it was not a question of whether, but when the Russians launched the attacks. They had been warning for months that Russia was preparing to invade Ukraine. The US had a source in the Kremlin, which was probably even closer to Putin than the Dutch source. The AIVD and the MIVD did hold talks with the US intelligence agency CIA, but did not find out why their analysis diverged. Only after the Russian troops moved into Ukraine did it become clear the top of Russian security apparatus had not been aware of Putin's attack plans. He was on a need-to-know basis. It is not only the rock-solid confidence in their source that caused the AIVD and MIVD to make a wrong assessment. The conversations conducted by the Volkskrant show that the skepticism also had to do with the Iraq War in 2003. The U.S. Secretary of State that then shared intelligence on Iraqi weapons of mass destruction that was not accurate. Oh, see? This is what happens when you lie on the global stage. People don't trust your own intelligence. Right? Oh, you guys made up that that weapon of mass destruction thing to invade Iraq, which, by the way, Dutch people did. Dutch, British, French, I think even Germans all participated in that bullshit of a war attack for nothing. So, yeah, I would also be pretty untrustworthy of U.S. I don't blame them, is what I should say. I don't blame them for not trusting all U.S. intelligence. The subsequent invasion of Iraq claimed hundreds of thousands of lives on both sides. The Netherlands was not the only country that was not convinced by American intelligence. Germany and France were also skeptical of a possible Russian invasion. "We are being rumbled into a war," a senior official summed up the atmosphere during consultations with European ministers. For a long time, Ukraine itself did not think that would really come to a Russian invasion. Yeah, we have all these treaties with other countries that are going to protect us, right? Only 3 weeks before the invasion, the position of the services changed somewhat. It then became clear that Russian army was bringing large amounts of blood plasma to the front. You only need that if you're expecting a lot of injuries. The service changed their conclusion that the war was unlikely to very possible. The Dutch service learned through intelligence after the invasion that the Russian security summit was surprised by the start of the war as they were. Only a small group of confidants apparently knew about the president's war plans. The dictator's war plans. The source of the AIVD and the MIVD fell outside it. That of the U.S. probably did not. By the way, that's a great indicator that your country is corrupt and being run by a dictator when like 5 people can decide to put your whole country in a war. Most countries, they usually have the lawmakers vote on, yes, we're going to war. Put it in the papers. I know the U.S. also famously has not done that either. But I'm just saying, right? It's not good. If anybody's living in a country where this happens, it's not a good thing, okay?
Stop believing spies. They're spies. They're going to lie to you.
No, that doesn't know. But the problem is that the spy wasn't lying. The spy was unaware because it was like 5 people in the entire of Russia who knew that Putin was going to invade Ukraine, right? That's what I'm saying here. It was a secret attack.
He telegraphed it for so many years. It isn't like a mystery, right?
The dismay was great among the Dutch services, according to a quote from one of the sources on the Volkskrant. spoke. This is the largest war on European territory since the Second World War, and we do not see them coming. What a fuck up. Some of those involved speak afterwards of an intelligence blunder. A senior AIVDer who spoke to the newspaper does not want to go that far. Putin's image has changed, he said. I think it's fair to say that we would now look at Putin with more distrust. We assume too much of Putin as a rational actor. Especially painful for the intelligence service is probably that the Dutch military and civil servants start to rely more and more on the information of American services, which caused us problems later because, as we learned after the second Trump presidency, a lot of those things were being, a lot of those shared intelligence were being shared right back to Putin. So then we had like, what that happened last year, right? That happened last year. Zelensky was like, how the fuck did Russia find out we're moving people to this town? There's no way.
Because
oh wait, I told America. That's why. Yeah. Whoops.
Yeah. If you're, intelligence agencies are not sharing intel with the United States anymore. They're just keeping it because
a few months earlier, the Dutch ambassador to Ukraine had already reached the conclusion that an invasion was coming. His embassy was preparing for war ever since. He called on the Dutch to leave the country in mid-February if they did not need to be there. He also ordered the evacuation of his wife and the families of embassy staff. Then Foreign Minister Hoekstra decided that the embassy staff should move to Lviv. A day after Russia invaded, Dutch personnel left Ukraine in a convoy of armored cars. Of course, this is a newspaper from the Netherlands, so that's why it's very Dutch-centric, but there you go. The wacky and weird news of, hoping the inevitable does not happen. But I think a lot of people, of course, with 2020 hindsight are already saying, right, as soon as Crimea happened, and we let them have Crimea, we should have assumed they were going to take over Ukraine. Crimea is literally a launching point for invading a country. Yeah.
Hands off Crimea. Oh, and we mean it this time. Oh, we didn't do nothing last time. Okay, whatever. Okay. Yeah.
But there's your story. I don't know if you have jokes about spies or something.
I got a quick one and a longer one. What kind of shoes does a spy wear?
Gumshoes?
It's pretty good. No, sneakers. And
right. Right, it was right there.
My longer joke is a European joke. If you got Italian, I don't want to rag on Italians, but here's a joke. A French spy, an English spy, and an Italian spy were sent to Russia. This is USSR, which don't exist anymore. So I hate it when jokes are, older than my children. USSR has existed since 1989. But anyway, unfortunately, they were caught, and within a few days, held captivity for a week. They were tortured for information. The French spy was first. They tied him up, tortured him, and after 20 minutes, he gave them all his information. The English spy was next. They tortured him for about 20 minutes, and then he just gave them all the information, incorrect or whatever. He just spilled his guts. But when they tried the same with the Italian, refused to give up anything and stayed tied to the chair for 3 hours until the Russians gave up and threw him back in the cell. How did you do that? The other two were amazed at his endurance. And the Italian said, I wanted to give them my information, but they tied my hands so I couldn't talk.
How was I supposed to give? Italian. I mean, I love talking with my hands. It's just like, I feel like you emphasize more, Yeah. Great one.
Sometimes I talk with my hands, right?
I mean, usually when I'm making thumbnails for the show, I'm looking for hand movement because it's just easy. You're making a face. You're going to be making something instead of just like a blank face. Okay, I have another story. I know that story is really long, but here's another story about silverware collections found in an attic, and you're like, wow, thanks Grandma for leaving this behind. It's from Neil Porin on The Independent. A collection of antique items discovered by chance in Edinburgh family's attic has been sold for almost £60,000 at auction. The haul of more than 100 British and continental silver pieces dating from the early 18th to 20th centuries was found by a family preparing to sell their new town home. Members of the family who do not wish to be named because they don't want people coming over them and be like, hey, can you lend me some money? They have 60,000. They found the items inside dusty chests, having been packed away for the best part of a century. The collection was put up for auction at Elmwood's auction house in London. Despite an initial estimate about £23,000, the collection far exceeded expectations, ultimately fetching a total of £59,761. And then there's a picture of a, what do you call it? Like a silver water, or maybe like a tea strainer or something, because there's like little holes on the top. Like to strain out to make sure you don't get everything. The most expensive part of the collection was Lot 15, a set of fine Danish vintage cutlery, which sold for $5,200. Yes, I would love those knives, so I can never touch them. The silverware had been untouched for generations, but the family completely unaware of its existence or significance. Oh, so like great-great-grandma was like, "Don't look at the attic," and then nobody ever heard about the silver again. A spokesperson for Edinburgh family said, "We're thrilled with the outcome and completely overwhelmed by the responses to the collection. What began as an unexpected discovery while clearing the family home has turned into an extraordinary journey. It's wonderful to know these pieces, which lay hidden for so many decades, have been found new homes with people who would appreciate their history and craftsmanship." The family had previously said they made the discovery when clearing out their mother's home, which had been with the same family for generations. There's also a silver goblet, I guess. Different members of the family are thought to have added the collection throughout the years, but knowledge of it faded more in recent times. Joe Kendrick, head of sale of Elmwood's auctioneer, said, "We knew this was a special collection from the moment we both examined the pieces from the chest. Today's results exceeded even our expectations, achieving a £59,761 against a pre-sale estimate of £23,000 demonstrates the enduring appeal of fresh-to-market collections with exceptional provenance." Bidders responded not only to the quality and rarity of the silver, but also the remarkable story behind its discovery after almost a century hidden away in an Edinburgh attic. It's been a privilege to bring these pieces back into the public eye and see them begin a new chapter with collectors around the world. Somebody's trash is another person's treasure. Or I guess in this case, a treasure is a treasure because a silver is a treasure. I don't think it's ever not been treasured.
Talking about.
Yes,
we're talking
we
about
are talking about silver.
Talking about Scotland, so I went to the Scottish jokes. There's a bunch of them. They're actually funny. I was reading them.
Go for it. I'm ready for your jokes.
Okay, this one here, that's more of an Irish joke. An Englishman, an Irishman, and a Scotsman were all sitting at a bar when a fly landed on their pints. The Englishman was disgusted, pushed his beer away, and ordered another. The Irishman blew the fly off and drank his beer. The Scotsman picked up the fly by its wings and growled, "All right, you wee bastard, spit it out." Wasted beer. Here's another one. Let's see. What do you call a man from Glasgow? What do you call a man from Glasgow who has lost his dog?
Something unintelligible.
Douglas. Ha ha ha.
Douglas. Oh dear.
Did you hear about this Scotsman who was arrested and went to court for stealing a kilt? Did you hear about that one? Right?
No, I haven't heard. What happened?
He pled guilty. Yes, that's right. What do you call Mel Gibson with diarrhea? One more. What do you call Mel Gibson with diarrhea?
Oh, I have no idea.
Oh my God! Get ready for the drum. The rim shot. Yeah. Brave Shart. Thank you very much.
Oh dear. All right, there's all our jokes. Whew, my mouth hurts from laughing.
God, I love Scottish humor, and I can rag on my group. I'm Scottish, got Scottish name, so I can rag on all I want without offending anyone. If you're offended by that, I don't
to be fair, Scottish people a real Scot wouldn't be offended by some jokes.
Oh, hell no. Scottish people are notoriously very, very prepared for it, I think the word is.
I wouldn't say they're cheery, but they're not easily insulted, I guess. And even if you do insult them, they take it like a champ on the chin, I guess, so to say.
Absolutely. I had no problem. Anybody in Scotland at any time, everybody was such a great sport, considering we were a bunch of ignorant Americans.
Well, one of you was, anyways.
I'm speaking for myself. Again, I can live with my own ignorance.
Here's my bingo call real quick, but I did do my bachelor's degree on Scottish independence, so I was definitely not ignorant.
You mean you did your paper?
Yeah, my thesis was on Scottish independence, so I knew all about Scotland by the time we went there.
That's a bingo card thing, Allison. Coding her degree, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's why I said this. Here's my degree. All right, let's roll our next.
Okay.
Yes, the segue did roll. It's a bad pun for your stories.
Unfortunately, there's a lot of a-holes out there, and one of them is this guy. What did we get? Pun, huh? Okay.
Bad poon.
Poon. Bad poon. Got it. Oh, pun. Oh, some guy living out in what they call it a forest, and that's in a very, very loose application of the word forest, because when you think of forest, think of big old tall trees, but Arizona's got forests that don't have any trees. They just got cactus. Man lived in the U.S. National Forest for 8 years. This is from sfgate.com. Lizzie Rager. Her last name is Rager. Don't bother Lizzie. She's a rager. A man lived in the U.S. National Forest for 8 years amid 1,000 pounds of trash. I don't think he started with 1,000 pounds of trash. I think it was just a project he was working on. A man pleaded guilty to charges related to living in Arizona National Forest for 8 years, according to U.S. District Attorney media spokesman. A U.S. Forest Service officer found the man and a campsite containing about a half ton of trash, called it one of the worst residential cases he's ever seen. How do they found this guy? And it took him 8 years to find him, because you can see everything from the air in the desert. And it looked like he's in trees. He could have been nestled in a canyon, maybe. I don't know. Probably nestled in a canyon, I would think. Mark Aaron Gatz, 65, old enough to know better, pleaded guilty, as they say in English, to a violation of fire restrictions and residential use of force without a permit, according to the District of Arizona U.S. Attorney's Office Executive Assistant Esther Wine. Gatz is sentenced to time served and 3 years of probation. Well, I hope he has to pay for something too. Hey, not let's put it on the taxpayers.
Maybe clean your own trash.
Yeah, maybe just send him out there to pick it all up. I don't care if he's 65. I'm 65. I'd do it just to save the money. I'd do it to save the frickin' jail time.
It doesn't matter it doesn't matter if you have to do it, right? Because you'd be filed to have to do it under the law. So
right,
your choice is completely irrelevant.
And you can't make me do it in the heat. That's oppressive either. So not going to kill me doing it. I'll pick up 100 pounds of trash a day. I'll be done in 10 days. What's the big fucking deal? Anyway. Officers found Gatz about a mile and a half an unmarked dirt trail in Tonto National Forest on 25 of June, late last month. Visitors had filed complaints about several large structures and several years' worth of trash. A federal citation filed June 29th said. In a previous citation in May, an officer observed 1,000 pounds of trash. I don't know how he weighed it, but maybe he just didn't estimate.
I don't know. I looked at it and I said, that has to be at least a ton of trash. That's what he said. There's a ton of trash. And they took it literally. They said, hey, wait a minute. There's a ton of trash.
Again, all trash is not created equal. Your heavier trash might even just be compost, right? It might just turn into soil in 5 years. Plastic bags don't weigh anything and they never turn to soil. So, just... weight is irrelevant as far as trash is. Plastic bags kill birds and snakes and everything too. Don't forget that.
I've determined that's what happened. The guy said there's a ton of trash out there, and the person who's reporting on this said, "Oh, there's 1,000 pounds of trash out there." He said
because
a ton.
Everybody knows being a park ranger makes you an expert on weights and measures. It's part of their job. Okay, of course, tires are definitely one of those things. Actually, recycling tires is a thing, so you can recycle those. Plastic bags, also recyclable. Trash bags, aluminum cans, again, you can make money off the aluminum cans. Other items, visits to many national forests, including Tonto, are limited to 14-day periods, including U.S. Department of, you can only stay at a national park for 14 days. You got to move. You can come back in a week, but you got to move after 14 days. So, yeah, he was legal. He was illegal. He's there for 8 years, and most of it was illegal. There was roughly a half an acre of resources ruined. More than that. due to so much trash and goods at the ground for an extended period of time, an officer wrote in camp in a previous citation. Getz had encounters with officers over the past year, according to the citation, with at least 6 outstanding federal arrest warrants for building a campfire during fire season, unsanitary conditions around his camp, building a structure on national forest lands, and digging holes in the land. He told Forest Service officials he's been living in Tonto National Forest for about 2 years, and the larger Payson Pine area for about 8 years. So he does move, but he's not moving every 2 weeks, I guarantee that. Mm-hmm. Long-term non-recreational campers present myriad concerns for forest officials who seek to balance public assets resources.
Sadly, I think example why you can't do it, right? I wish we could just go camping, right? But people like this exist. Now you can.
Ween, who is a officer with the Park Service, said over email that people occupying national forests for unauthorized time periods is a common problem in Arizona. One of your biggest RV places in the world, probably Arizona, probably has more RVs per capita than any place in the planet. And the world's biggest RV store is in Tucson. So that's an RV place. People live in their RVs and they park where they want to, but you're only allowed to do that 2 weeks at a time in a national forest and a national park. There's your fun little story about this idiot accumulating trash and not giving a shit. I just wonder why it took him 8 years to figure this shit out. You can see it all from the air.
That's terrible. That's how visible it is. Damn. All right, I've got some bad puns.
This thing probably appears on Google Maps at some point, right? I'm sorry, go ahead.
Of course, I'm sneezing right when I'm about to do anything. First pun. I'm going to call him a hippie because that's this. You know, I always found like homesteading and living off grid is a very hippie thing. So
that age group.
Sounds like this hippie's logic runs barefoot.
More puns. One more pun.
Follow my dreams like a bin rolling downhill. Because he needs a fucking trash can. And finally, sounds like this hippie tried to outrun a ranger, but he was right on their trail. Park trail.
That one's kind of
do you have another story?
Yes, I do. It's about the potential disaster averted yesterday in Manhattan. Manhattan, if you've never been to Manhattan, you cannot see the sky. Why can't you see the sky? The buildings are in the way. They're everywhere. Not the skyscrapers that stink in Manhattan. You see a picture of Manhattan. If your building is lower than 10 stories, you don't belong in Manhattan. You just don't belong here. And there was a 37-story high-rise, which in Manhattan is medium at best, was evacuated. This is from ABC7NewYork.com. Former Pfizer HQ building deemed stable. It was deemed stable later in the day after collapse scare in Manhattan's east side. Yes, a 37-story high-rise on Manhattan's east side that sparked fears of possible collapse has been stabilized, not repaired, just stabilized as a fallen people that are just minding their own business. Yeah. Although it would make a hell of a video. According to city officials, allowing most evacuated residents to return home. I think this thing's probably going to have to get demolished at some point. The incident unfolded Tuesday morning when workers inside the former Pfizer headquarters was being converted into residential housing. Somebody's cutting corners on their refurbishment. I can see it already. Discovered buckled columns and bending steel box beams in the building's 21st floor. So anything above the 21st floor has to be torn completely down. I'm saying that's what's got to happen here, right? You can't just replace a girder and have everything else be level above it. You're already at the 21st floor. That's very high up. That's 210 feet. Emergency crews rushed to the scene and the concerns of the structure could fall. The Department of Buildings, what a great name. The Department of Buildings Wednesday said that the building is stable as crews continue reinforcing the damaged supports and investigating what causes structural issues. I'm saying weak steel, right? It's not built for that load. You need to take all those out, re-examine every steel that you purchase from that steel mill or just take them all out because they're not doing quality control, obviously. According to Metro Loft, the developer overseeing the conversion project, the column likely buckled after added weight of newly expanded upper floors. Might want to stop at the 21st floor and not go any higher. That's what I'm just going to say that right now. I mean, don't even go any higher. I would not rent an office space or a building or an apartment above the 21st floor. Actually, I wouldn't rent it anywhere in this building now. The company said the part of the floor sagged about 4 inches, but maintained the building was never in danger of collapsing. Oh, okay. Good one. I don't believe that for a second. We have columns that could not hold the weight that it was holding before. New York City's building commissioner Jimmy Oddo, O-D-D-O, Oddo, said, crews are installing metal supports and galvanized steel to replace the compromised columns carried a load previously supported by the damaged structure. Officials said the investigation remains ongoing as engineers determine the root cause of the failure and develop a long-term repair plan. As the costs will overrun and those apartments just got really, really, really expensive, and you're already worried about your building collapsing when you moved in. I don't think I'd live in this building. The restricted zone around the building has been significantly reduced. By Wednesday morning, closures were limited to 2-block stretch around East 42nd, East 43rd Streets between 2nd and 3rd Avenues. So it's still closed. It is Wednesday morning. The remaining frozen zone includes a hotel and a private school. A private school? Oh my Lord. Oh, my children just had a building fall on them. A private school operating a summer camp for 400 children. You're going to summer camp in Manhattan? I'm lost on that one. Most residents were forced to evacuate.
To the park.
Where did you go to summer camp? Did you go to Lake Minnehaha? No, I went to Manhattan where a building fell on me. Oh, cool. Anyway. Did you learn the arts and crafts? No, but we learned how to look for survivors. Most residents were forced to evacuate Tuesday, have since been cleared to return to their homes. There's your camp joke. We still got more. The 37-story commercial building is currently undergoing renovations to convert into a residential building. Oh my Lord. Let's look into the future. I'm looking at my crystal ball. 2040, 37-story building in Manhattan collapses. Nobody knows why. Yeah, we know why. Us here in the past, in 2026, we're going in 14 years in the future to where this building collapses and kills thousands of people. In their sleep, perhaps even, right? So yeah, do not finish this building. Tear it down and start over. That's what you need to do. I don't care what it costs. It's not worth it. That's why you buy insurance. Pretend you're Trump and don't pay your contractors. There you go. Before Tuesday, the unstable building received 24 other complaints this last year. Holy shit. Ranging from worker blowing material off the roof of the leaf blower. I'm walking down the street in Manhattan. Here comes 40 pounds of nails on my head. I don't think so. What a bunch of assholes. Or are these construction workers? Let me just blow them in the streets of Manhattan. Whatever, clowns. Anyway, more complaints. The worker falling from the ladder wasn't on a flat surface. Yeah, I think we're just hiring whoever shows up that day, right? To a large item.
I can't come to work, boss, but my cousin Billy can. Okay, Billy, have you ever done this before? No, but my cousin talks about it every day. Okay.
And again, we're not done with the stupid shit that's happened on this construction site. A worker falling from a ladder was one thing. A large item, not described other than large item, falling through 5 floors and almost hitting someone. Of course, it would have been a headline if it would have hit someone. Just now, so these headlines say, blowing material off the roof of this 50-story building with a leaf blower. It's all kinds of complaints. In almost all the cases, the building did not receive a formal violation. Oh my Lord. Because inspectors didn't observe anything wrong when they got to the construction site. Nothing wrong! In other words, inspectors aren't doing their job. Metro Loft, the developer for the conversion project, said in a statement that is working with the Department of Buildings as it investigates the situation. It looks like the Department of Buildings needs a new director. Get on it, Mom Donnie. Fire that bastard. He ain't doing his job. The safety of our workers and the public has always been and remains our top priority, the developer said. It should be, you should tear down that building. Video shows that interior of an unstable building that sparked the evacuations of Midtown. Tuesday, the cause of instability being turned after emergency trusses are in place. This is an active investigation, they said at the mayor's office, and we don't have any comments because, well, let's have his comment. There's an active investigation underway about what brought us to this point. I think our focus right now is making sure this site is safe, the building is safe, the neighborhood is safe. Mayor's Mom Donnie said.
That's always your fucking, yeah.
What?
I'm saying that's always your job.
Right, well, yeah. I can, yeah, exactly. I'm not going to make any comments because I don't know what the fuck happened. You know, it ain't first of all, I'm just going to say we're going to investigate it. So that's kind of what's going on here.
Yeah.
I would say tear it down to at least the 21st floor, inspect everything else under the 21st floor, maybe stop building it at 21 until you figure, you know, and that's it. We're only going up to 21. Fuck this 37th floor shit. we don't trust the structure. You know, the whole thing is, to me, the whole thing is just, it's clouded in, what is it? Incompetence.
Mystery?
For me to ever. Okay. Competence. Okay. Bad fun about bad buildings.
Okay.
I think Ghostbusters is involved. Get Ghostbusters up there.
The Ghostbusters. Let's keep this concrete. You can't handle that load. It's too heavy.
Oh.
That stress isn't just emotional, it's structural. I would say gravity is there, unpaid intern. Two bricks fell in love. It was a solid bond.
Yeah.
And I asphalt for laughing too much. There you go, all your engineering puns, civil engineering puns.
That's it, man. Those were dumb stories from stupid land.
Weird and wackiness of that is, yep. We live on a planet and people are doing stuff, and yep, stuff is happening. Our next story, next segue is associate, and my next story is coming from India on AP News. From Deepa Barath, coming out of Chalakudi, India, the life-size robotic elephants in Prasanth, Pakistan's backyard workshop have ears that flap, tails that swish, and trunks that squirt water. But that's about all they have in common with their real-life counterparts revered across India as manifestations of the divine. The animatrons, crafted from fiberglass, iron, and rubber, are intended to take the place of live elephants in Hindu temples. The change pleases animal welfare activists but upsets those who passionately believe real elephants are inextricable from temple rituals and festivals where they are bestowed superstar status. The animal welfare group PETA and other non-profits have donated about 40 robotic elephants costing about $6,000 each to Indian temples to replace live elephants. Robotic elephant is much lighter and lacks the fluid grace of the majestic pachyderm. Electric motors move its head and eyeballs. Body parts are pliable in an attempt to make them lifelike. Prakashan, who holds a mechanical engineering degree, knows his elephant is far from the real thing. You can't create an original elephant just as you cannot duplicate a human, Prakashan says, but we try to capture the majestic animal's essence as much as we can. And then there's a picture of the elephant. One thing his elephant can't do yet is walk, but they will, Prakashan says, smiling. I'm working on it. Venerating elephants is not a concept unique to Kerala or Hinduism. Buddhists believe elephants are Buddha-like and symbolizing patience, wisdom, and enlightenment. In Kandy, Sri Lanka, 100 decorated elephants parade the streets, the largest carrying the Buddha's tooth relic in a golden casket. In Kerala, festivals with live elephants are crowd pullers. I mean, a lot of people don't live to see an elephant. So, because they're kind of scary to approach. They're huge and they could crush you with one foot. The Varakunathan Temple's annual Puram parade features about 100 elephants adorned in golden headgear and colorful silk caparisons. The elephants are escorted by handlers who fan them with peacock feathers and yak hair whisks. About 40 miles or 65 kilometers away, the Guru Vayar Sri Krishna Temple houses nearly 50 elephants. The temple also holds an annual elephant race and a feeding ritual where, following prayers, the animals are given rice, ghee, jaggery, fruits, and vegetables. Elsewhere in Kerala, St. George Orthodox Syrian Church in Kulam and the Patambi Mosque in Palakkad district routinely feature elephant parades during the festivals. Some temple elephants are celebrities. An elephant named Tukavu Ramacharan has close to 150,000 fans on Facebook. Guru Vayar Keshavan, arguably the most celebrated temple elephant who died in 1976, has been memorialized with a life-size statue near the temple he served. His life story has been the subject of a film and a television series. Andrea Gutierrez, a University of Texas professor who researched captive elephants in South Asia, said Kerala's temple elephants are male, which poses a problem. Adult males go through moose, a periodic condition that heightens their aggression. It's a dramatic surge in testosterone, up to 60 times their normal levels, similar to deer, bucks, right? For example. But people want these huge, impressive she's from Texas. But people want these huge, impressive tucks, which almost feels like a military presence, Gutierrez said. Despite tighter restrictions on owning and maintaining elephants, nearly 400 animals are still captive in Kerala, and about 2,500 across India. The count is down by half since 2010. Khushbu Gupta, Vice President of Policy of PETA India, said the aesthetic appeal of live elephants doesn't justify shackling, feeding, and separating them from their families. Stressed elephants can also be deadly. For example, 9 people died in 2024, that was 2 years ago, from elephant rampages at Kerala temple festivals. These elephants are forced to stand there for hours in heat, with large crowds, drums, and fireworks. Gupta said any trigger could cause them to go on a rampage. Prakashan, who builds animatronics for malls, parks, and carnivals, got PETA's attention in 2023 with a viral video of robotic elephants at a Dubai festival. Gupta contacted him and Suraj Nambiat, another Kochi-based artist who makes elephant sculptures, about making a robotic version for temples. Prakashan's elephants were immediately in demand. His first was encased in rubber, but he's moved on to more durable fiberglass models. The moving rubber parts are shaped by artists who pay close attention to minute details, from the animal's wrinkly skin to the veins that pop when it's fanning its ears. The entire process from mold making to animating the elephant now takes Prakashan and his crew about 15 days. But being a pioneer comes with challenges. It was something we had to figure out on our own, Prakashan said. Prakashan's first robotic elephant, Irin Japadili Raman, came to the Sri Krishna temple in 23. On a recent afternoon outside the temple in central Kerala, Raman stood motionless as 2 children played, giggling and hugging his trunk. Definitely couldn't do that with a real elephant safely anyways. Raj Kumar Namboothri, the temple's head priest, said children would never be able to approach a live elephant so freely. He said tantric texts, which spell out the rules for daily rituals in Kerala temples, don't require live elephants. He believes the practice came about when elephants were part of the king's cavalries and palaces a few centuries ago. They had trees and forests before, Namboothri said. Now we have concrete jungles, heat and noise. Elephants are tortured and abused. It's not right. The animals were also chosen as vehicles for deities during processions because of their height, but that could be accomplished with a portable palanquin or chariots, Namboothri said. E.C. Subhash, a temple devotee, said he is in favor of upholding tradition with... It's not tradition, though, if you made it up. I mean, this is the problem with traditions, right? How long does something have to be there for it to be a tradition, right? Because I would argue...
Everyone had to be made up by somebody one day.
Exactly.
Right?
It's like, I get that it's a tradition, but it's only a recent tradition. It's not like an ancient tradition, you know? It's nothing like that. Somebody somewhere was like, hey, we have all these leftover elephants. Let's put them in the temples.
That's the problem with traditions, right? You can fart loudly after a meal and say, it's a tradition. It's a tradition to fart loudly at the table. And everybody's like, sorry.
But he believes the robotic, Subhash believes robotic elephants are more feasible for smaller temples, given the steep costs, including liability, insurance, and coverage. I really hope more people come to accept them, Subhash says. K.I. Purushothaman, president of the Chikamundi Sri Mahavishnu Temple in Thrissur, said the robotic elephant has brought him peace of mind because he and other administrators fear the possibility of a fatal elephant attack. With a robotic elephant, we don't have that fear, he said. That's a big relief. Still, many traditionalists, because that's what traditionalists like to do, don't believe robotic elephants belong in temples. K. Mahesh rents out his real elephant for festivals about 45 days a year. Oh, sorry, did you hear that? He rents out his elephant. So the guy who makes money renting out an elephant doesn't want to get rid of elephants in temples? Who would have thought? He believes that elephants are holy, making a lot of money in his bank account. That's in parentheses. It's in between the lines there. They're holy.
Yep.
Great for my bank account. If you don't believe... Wait, I scrolled back. So if you don't believe elephants are scared, what's the point of robotic elephant in a temple? He asked. Yeah, I don't believe the elephant is scared. It's, shaking and it's, panicked, but I don't believe in it, so it doesn't exist. Mahesh has had his elephant for 25 years and says the animal is like a family member or a pet. Brings joy to all, provided it is treated with care and caution. Several temple administrators have denounced robotic elephants for rituals and festivals. Nambiat, the artist, said he can't attend temple festivals anymore because he may resent his work. This is my trade. I am not out to ruin their tradition, he said, but if we don't stop treating elephants like commodities, future generations won't have any. P.S. Ayasa, a Kerala-based wildlife biologist and elephant expert, so this is the person I'm going to believe about anything to do with elephants, helped draft the state's captive elephant regulations. While hard to enforce, they have helped protect elephants to some extent, he said. Sadly, there is a lot of money to be made with elephants, he said. Exactly. Not about spirituality or even tradition, it's religious tourism. Ayasa is not sure if robotic elephants will be acceptable in his lifetime. You cannot change centuries-old tradition anytime soon, he said. But who knows? Maybe these robotic elephants can start walking. So work on it! Work on that walking elephant! We're gonna have... If we can have AI replace art, we can have robots replace elephants, okay?
Slippery slope. Slippery slope. Slippery slope, man. Is that the end?
Yes, that is the end of my story about robotic elephants. The wacky and weird world of replacing your elephants with robots.
Luckily, this ties into our mic drop moment, which I just sent you. And if you have AI on your bingo card, there's another thing we can put on our bingo card. Our story about AI, which is what the bane of our existence at this point. And by association, other association is a pun. AI also stands for artificial in elephants. I think artificial in elephant.
Oh, I get it. I get jokes.
Yeah, you get it.
I'm sure this should have worked. Okay.
Next story, or am I going now? The spin?
No, it's another story. I have another story.
Oh,
yeah, sorry. I love talking about elephants. Are my favorite animal, by the way. That's why I'm so explicitly pissed about
man. They're probably going to be the next animal.
Yeah.
Right? They're probably be. And here's another thing I wanted to say about elephants. These AI elephants, if they go on a stampede, they're going to blame the real elephants, right? Yeah.
Okay.
Real elephants.
Speaking of elephants, which are very heavy animals, another heavy animal is being weird and wacky in Tasmania. It's Neil the seal has returned. This is from Nick Visser on The Guardian. Both large traffic codes, fences, and land cruisers stand little chance against a one-ton giant known as Neil the seal, now a local legend in southern Tasmania. Neil, a 5-year-old elephant seal, has once again taken up residence in Tasmanian towns. He's bypassing barricades, crushing fences, lying on roads, and bashing into at least one parked car. In short, he is acting like an unruly teenager, play fighting with seal stand-ins. He's probably not the fastest mover, but he runs into a car, decides to put his nose up the bonnet. It's not going to be too good, says Rod McDonald, the mayor of Tasman Council, which covers the area where Neil was born in 2020. But he's certainly a bit of a celebrity, and he continues to earn his status. As the independent Tasmanian Senator Jackie Lambie puts it, he's the only bloke in Tasmania who can stop traffic, ignore everyone, and still be loved for it. Dr. Jane Younger, a senior lecturer and seal expert at the University of Tasmania, says Neil is just a engaging in normal seal behaviors. Elephant seals return multiple times a year to the area where they are born to molt, breed, or socialize, but his existence is an anomaly. Most of its kind live thousands of kilometers south on the sub-Antarctic Macquarie or Herd Islands. He's come back every year since he's been born, but he's bigger now, Younger says. He's like 1,000 kilos at this point. He's obviously more capable of being a menace. He's broken fences, he's harassing people's cars. That's just a function of his size. Younger says he is only set to grow more. The adult males are routinely more than 2 tons, the larger ones around 3.5 tons, he says, so he could get much, much bigger than he is now. Elephant seals are social creatures when they are on land, usually living in vast colonies during molting and mating seasons. While most of Australian populations live thousands of kilometers south, Younger suspects Neil is likely the progeny of a young, inexperienced seal who ventured to Tasmania by mistake. Dr. Clive McMahon, a marine ecologist, has worked with elephant seals for 3 decades. Says Neil is on land for one of the several haul-outs that the creatures make each year. Neil appears to have come for a social visit and is likely to be around for 6 weeks or so. He's meant to encounter other young males and have some interaction and rest on shore. When he would normally encounter young males, they would spar with him. They would be training and preparing themselves for when they're adults, says McMahon, a scientist and operations manager at Sydney Institute of Marine Scientists. But in the absence of other young males, he sort of has to learn his fighting behavior or his social behaviors by doing things like sparring with bollards and traffic cones and various other things. Without those other younger males, Neil is probably quite lonely. Unfortunately, poor old Neil has probably looked for some of those things and is not really finding them, he adds, noting an elephant seal will often sleep in large clumps squishing up against each other. Often when you see him sleeping, you'll see him squished up against the fence, and that's probably part of him wanting to feel that there's someone else there. Beyond Neil, elephant seals are facing some dire threats. The International Union for Conservation of Nature, IUCN, which monitors species population numbers, recently decided to upgrade the southern elephant seal to vulnerable. That's a bad upgrade. You want to downgrade as much as possible. The body made the shift after a wave of bird flu tore through 4 of the 5 major population. In some colonies, more than 90% of the seal pups died, including 13,000 on Herd Island alone. Damn. Yeah, that's... McDonald says residents tend to make do when Neil hauls himself into town, working out a way to not get in too much trouble with him. Because of his size, there's a bit of danger to damaging things, they say. Wildlife officials have urged people to stay 20 meters away from Neil at all times, even if he's sleeping. Those with dogs should stay 50 meters away. Big Man says Tasmania should embrace Neil's visit to Australia. If we love seeing Neil, why not look after Neil's environment and ensure that his environment is safe, he says. Guess what I'm saying is us humans should really embrace the fact that we have the privilege to learn as much as we can about elephant seals and also about the ocean. So there you go. There is your story about Neil the seal causing havoc in Tasmania.
I had to look at my associated with it. Has Neil Young ever toured with the British pop singer Seal? No, he hasn't. But that would have been a great tour, Neil and the Seal. Similar. I looked up other concerts. I was looking up other combinations of concert tours that would have been great. There's one that actually existed was the Black and Blue tour, which was Black Sabbath and Blue Oyster Cult. So that was a perfect name. But I couldn't find any really good ones in the limited time I was having. I was like, yeah, there's got to be some really good tours out there that had great names because of the bands and. Nah, they just kind of was never like. I was like, Queen had the tour with Prince, right? No, they didn't have.
Yeah,
never happened. No. Kansas and Boston and Chicago. Nope, they never toured together.
Yeah, so
but anyway,
we're associating this with some great tour
tours
ideas. If there's a tour director out there anywhere, got some ideas.
I know if I was a concert promoter, I would try to get as many of those. Black and Blue was a thing for sure. Black and Blue tour. I would have gone. If I had the money, I would have gone to the Black.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people would pay to see that. Yep, a lot of people would pay to see those combos. Our next segue is roll it. It is a hypothetical.
Yeah, we're going to talk about marriage in both of these stories. In one story, it's I don't know if this woman actually did get married yet, but she definitely found somebody. Bay Area woman who sought love through her Mary Lisa billboard says she's in love. Oh, okay. KTVU.com Sharon Song has the story. Sharon Song. Everybody know the Sharon Song. Just sing along with it. A Bay Area woman who, that is San Francisco Bay, a Bay Area woman who went viral for unconventional quest using billboards to find Mr. Right says she's in love and applications are closed. We first introduced you to Alicia Catalano back in September, which I didn't introduce you. That's the first I heard of it. Anyway, after she had paid for a series of billboards along Highway 101, that's right, a series of billboards, not just one. Oh my, she must have got a deal. Stretching from Santa Clara to South San Francisco. She's put in a wide dragnet, trying to get herself a man as part of her campaign to find herself a future husband. The billboards were featured a photo of her and directed potential suitors to her website, marylisa.com, where she had curated a profile of who she was and she was looking for a partner. She also later expanded her Mary Lisa campaign to taxi top ads, you know, the little ads on top of your taxi, and other promotional efforts, perhaps park benches even, right? Well, park bench will get you to all the bums you want. If interested, candidates who seem to be potentially compatible match were asked to fill out an application, like a job. On her website, Catalano was open and honest about her primary objectives. Wants marriage and kids within the next 2 or 3 years. Well, she apparently is 45, so that's ticking a little bit. Well, it's always ticking. She also listed her other non-negotiables. They included having a partner who is college educated, no dummies, led a healthy lifestyle, no big fat guys, is what she's saying. No fatties. I'm just laying it on the line. Did not smoke or do recreational drugs. Well, half of California's been eliminated already. Did not have a criminal record. The other half of California was politically aligned with her. Okay, so she's limited down from 30 million people that live in California down to about 6. In addition, she detailed, I'm sorry, you in California, you're not smoking weed. You're not enjoying the full experience. In addition, the detailed areas of flexibility, including her target age of 30 to 45, no oldies, no fatties. Let's put that bluntly. I don't want anybody older than me. I don't want anybody fatter than me. Very superficial. And said preferably, though not set in stone, her future partner has never been married and doesn't have any kids. Yes, I don't want your fucking kids. Get them away from me. As for physical attributes, generally speaking, Lisa is attracted to a more clean-cut looking man, slim to medium build, or no or minimal tattoos and piercings. I fit one of those. Maybe 2 of those. I'm definitely not clean-cut looking. I don't know what that means, actually. She's looking for a Hitler type, I guess. I don't know. This month, Lisa Catalano proudly announced applications are closed. Lisa's in love and has a boyfriend. The update is accompanied by several photos of a beaming and smiling Lisa with her new man, did not show her face or his name. It should be noted that she didn't reveal his identity. I want to be completely respectful of his privacy. I was never going to condition of dating me that as any man needed to be comfortable going public. Don't worry, we'll find out who he is sooner or later. It isn't like the internet is full of people with nothing better to do. It's all the internet is. On her website, what she did share was that the proud girlfriend of a kind, intelligent, attractive San Francisco man of 35. So robbing the old cradle. Catalano revealed that her boyfriend did see a Mary Lisa billboard back in October. It's actually a match on a dating app that led to her initial connection in January. The 42-year-old, well, she's 42. I thought she was 45. Okay, whatever. The 42-year-old was clear along the billboard campaign is only part of a multi-pronged effort to find a husband as she stayed on her dating app as part of a quest. She said after they were matched, she directed him to her website. He never filled out the application, but they forged forward and decided to go on the first day. No application. These poor bastards that went to the trouble to fill out an application were just totally left in the dust. That's sad. Not wanting to rush the process, she went on 19 dates over 3.5 months before becoming exclusive. While wanting to protect his privacy, she did share a few details about her boyfriend. He's 35. She described as very nice, laid back, and easygoing. I mean, it is California. Everybody's laid back and easygoing until something goes wrong. In the end, she received 4,000 applications, 3,221 deemed actual genuine submissions. And I think AI helped her with that. No way she read them all. The majority of the men were out of the geographic area and did not meet even some of the very basic compatibility strategies with her partner in. Canada, she was narrowed the applicants down to just 20 men, all residing locally, and then she went on her first dates with only 5 of them. As part of Catalano's update, she also provided a detailed breakdown on how much her Mary Lisa campaign cost her. Let's get it going here. How much did it cost? Oh, you're not going to tell us. Some of us might be surprised by the final figures. When weighing a billboard's taxi tops, the costs associated with setup, hosting, and operating, the total came to $1,980. That's less than I would have thought. Oh, wait. Here we go. When factoring in additional expenses, which is probably what you got to do, including wardrobe for photo, video shoots, makeup, photography equipment, and the grand total amounted to $4,750. That's a little bit more pricey than I would have gone. Well, I wouldn't have done this at all, but you know what I mean. A lot went into this. Around the time I went viral, I only spent several hundred dollars on billboard, plus the website expenses. Then I went viral and the other related costs kicked in. She also pointed out that the costs put up the website and billboards did not even amount to 50% of the total, and the billboards, which were made her a viral story, were only about 20% of the cost. Overall, I did pretty well. I guess she wasn't really worried about the cost. We'll see. We'll check back in 10 years. Let's see if they're still in a relationship. We'll check back and see if that building in Manhattan is still standing. And let's say 2040. Let's do that. Let's check back with this happy couple in 2040.
All right, mark your calendars, everyone. Of course, it won't matter because in 2029 we'll be dead from this doomsday counter on above our heads. Of course.
Yeah, we're all going to be stampeded by AI.
A meteor, and meteor will strike down. Yeah, and I guess there's a hypothetical. There's a hypothetical. Hypothetically, those buildings might collapse, and that woman might not be in a relationship anymore. But that's because the Earth will be destroyed by a meteor.
You want me to take that hypothetical one further? They move into that building after they get married. They move to Manhattan.
God, the twist.
You get the job as a. She gets a job programming AI elephants in Manhattan, right? The building collapses and they die. Yeah,
well, imagine that. Cool. Then you know we're in a simulation because we've just given the big programmer who runs this simulation an idea, and now that's going to happen in 2040. We're going to find out.
Nigeria is totally collapsed by stampeding elephants. Poor Nigeria. Because that's our next story. We're going to Africa. Nigeria wins Taiwo and Kahindi. They're twins named Taiwo and Kahindi. They marry twins. They're twins and they marry twins. That's the story. It's from France24.com. As twin sisters, Taiwo and Kahindi.
Sorry, I was expecting an applause or something. So. Next story.
I don't know. Kahindi. Oh, I'm sorry. I was.
No, it's fine. It's fine. You don't have to. I was just like, we're going to the next story already. It's completely lost.
As twin sisters, Taiwo and Kahindi Adere, it's because of the names I got to pronounce. Walk down the aisle arm in arm with their father at a church in Ibadan, southwestern Nigeria, to tie the knot with twin brothers Taiwo and Candy. What? Their names are the same? I don't understand. Ogiontoye guests rose from their seats, lifting smartphones to capture what many described as a once-in-a-lifetime twins marrying twins? Really? This is my first time seeing this, shouted a passerby outside the church as crowds gathered around. Newlyweds photographs after the ceremony. For many in attending the union of Taiwo and Kahindi with Taiwo and Kahindi, they have the same names. I am so confused by this article. Felt almost perfectly symmetrical. I didn't realize they had the same names, dude. That's
maybe
really
their last
weird.
names. Maybe they're just speaking about them in last name?
Yeah, it's Adder. Their last names were Aderian and Ogotoye. So the brothers are named Ogotoye last name. The sisters are named Aderian. Adediran. and Oguntoye.
You have to get into your, African roots. That's how you say it.
It sounds like Iditarod, this dog sled race, so that works. Iditarod,
Oh, so I'm calling this not specifically for you, but for me, because I definitely pronounced some of those Indian names wrong.
Mark the card twice. For many attending the union of Taiwo and Kohinde with their likewise namesakes, we have always wanted to marry together and to marry twins, said Taiwo, the man. We got to do this. I'm not going to read their last names. But yeah, Tyro the man is Oguntoye. Beaming after the ceremony, and by the special grace of God, it happened. I'm so happy to marry the love of my life. They look exactly the same. Oh my God, they're completely identical. Both sets of twins are from Ibadan, in a region famous for its unusually high number of twin births. That's going to keep happening, especially when twins keep marrying twins. The brothers, known locally as Oguntoye twins, have built careers around promoting twin culture, active in tourism and culture initiatives. They are the founders of Twin World Creations, initiators of twin tourism, celebrating the region's twins. They were destined to marry twins. They were just looking for the right twins. I just got to say that this was always going to happen. Their love story begins years ago when a professor at the University of Ibadan told the brothers she knew a pair of twin sisters they should meet. Hey, I got a couple of gals for you. The four became twins, but when the brothers suggested taking their relationship further, the sisters were unconvinced. We said, no, we don't want to date twins. You're all going to play tricks on us. I added that because I see the potential for playing tricks. The friendship faded. Years later, the brothers reached out again. This time the answer was different. The answer was, we are quite lonely. No, I'm just kidding. Regardless of the gender, the firstborn twin is traditionally named Taiwo. So there you go. The second-born is called Kahende. So there you go. That's a culture thing. In the Yoruba culture, twins hold a special place. So when you have identical twins, they come out of the same little birth canal, one after the other. The first one is traditionally named Taiwo, and the second one is named Kahindi. So that's why this is a thing, and the only reason it's a thing, because nobody does this on purpose. They just do it out of tradition. It is common to see twins dressed alike from childhood, sometimes down to matching shoes, jewelry, and accessories. Oh my God, it's going to be confusing. The sense of twinning shaped every moment of the wedding weekend. During Friday's traditional engagement ceremony, the couples appeared in matching red outfits as relatives danced around piles of gifts. Let's imagine the size of that pile. From yams to drinks to fabrics and suitcases presented by the groom's family to the brides. Wedding portraits were carefully choreographed as guests repeatedly stopped to compare the similarities between the siblings who are in early 40s. Hell, you can play it. You can turn this into a game. Which twin is it? And you just mark them with like a colored sticker in the back of their heads, so you keep track of them or something. I don't know. Oguntoye brothers are fraternal. They're not identical, but they sure as well look alike. Oguntoye brothers are fraternal twins, while the Iditarod sisters are identical twins. They definitely look like they all look alike. Maybe the fraternal twins are a little bit, one looks taller with a skinnier head. Smoke machines filled the entrance as the couples emerged through flashing lights to cheers and sea of raised smartphones. Those smoke machines are carbon dioxide. It's dry ice. I've always wished to marry a twin as well, laughed Kahinde Kanji, 26, a friend of the groom's. Half of the people at this wedding are named Kahinde, and the other half are named that other name, right? Which I already forgot. For Dupe Adaroga Giwa, the Alaga, the master of ceremonies of traditional way, a lifetime of nuptials had not prepared her for this one. The master of ceremonies, twins from the same family, marrying twins from the same family. I have never seen this in my life. It is a privilege to be part of this. You've never seen it in her life in a place known for twins. That's amazing. Anyway, that's the story about marriage. Hypothetical. I know what your hypothetical is. Maybe I do. I know what mine is. And I will hit the soundboard this time. I won't be doing something else.
Hypothetically, there's going to be like 8 twins at some point, and they're all going to look the same as each other, and you won't even know who's related to who. I think there's an example of this from what was it from
a comedian
again? I forget, but like there was an article the other day where like they're like, we don't know who the father is because the identical twin, right? I think it was a story we did a couple times in the past. Right? They're like, we literally could not tell you if your wife slept with your brother. You're identical twins.
Right,
like,
there's no way
it's impossible. Sorry. I'm sorry you have trust issues, but it doesn't really matter at the end. If you're identical, your genes still get spread, right? So who cares? I mean, in my opinion, right, the only reason I see that men care, right, is this my son? Is because I have some weird obsession with genetic legacy, right? I need my specific genes to be passed down because you're so fucking special. I don't know.
Yeah, it's funny.
I'm just saying there's plenty of men out there who are like, oh, you know, I'll raise somebody else's kid. I don't care. It's not the kid's fault. They were born.
I blame Maury Povich for his awful show. Name the father of this kid, and the woman's made to feel like shit, and the man just gets to celebrate. It's a horrible fucking show. I hated that show. Maury Povich should rot in hell for that. If he's still alive, he might be dead. Seriously, it was a horrible fucking show. It was a horrible show. These children are real people. These are real children in real lives, and now their lives are ruined by your stupid fucking show, really, if they ever find out, oh, really, my real dad's an asshole, thanks. Anyway.
All right, well, thank you for that rant.
My thing I wanted to say about it reminds me of this one comedian, I think it was Dom Herrera or whatever it was. He was doing his stand-up, and he was talking about he has identical twins, right? And he can't tell them apart because they have to dress them different. But one day his parents were visiting, like his mom was visiting, and they were both in the same crib. And he went to pick up one of the twins, and the twin had a scratch on their face, like on the side of their face. And he's like, did my mom do that? Because she couldn't tell them apart. You know? Yeah, that's the thing. Adults will do that shit. I can't tell apart. I'm going to scratch this one. He ain't going to feel it. Yeah. That's your dumbass little sidebar from me. Sorry.
It's not another a dumbass sidebar, but let's spin the stick away.
I spent a good portion of time.
It's funny, whenever you say dumbass, I can't remember her name right now, but that actress from Legally Blonde.
Dumbass?
Yeah, dumbass. You know, she has kind of a nasally voice. No, the other woman. The one who's flirting with the post office worker.
I couldn't tell you another actress in
anyway, she goes, you dumbass. She has a kind of a more of a nasally voice. I can't think of her name right now. Our next segue is sarcasm. For my culture news. I thought I was going to bring up what?
What did I spin? Sorry, go ahead.
Sarcasme.
Right. Got it. I got nothing to say. Go ahead.
Okay, my next story is very short, and it's just some culture news that I could find that is slightly weird because they made a new Ali G film, or at least according to Sacha Baron Cohen, they've completed filming it, a new movie. This is on The Guardian by Catherine Shord. 24 years after Stain's foremost political intercolor was last seen on the big screen in Ali G's In the House, Ali G is set to return to cinemas. As reported by the In Snyder, a new movie has wrapped production with filming locations including Oxfordshire, where Baron Cohen was spotted in character last summer, and in the US. A title and release date has not been confirmed, and representatives for the star declined to comment. A return for the character was first rumored in 2023, but the project was reportedly delayed by the series of writers and actor strikes in the US. Ali G, a shell suit-wearing naif who energetically culturally appropriates as part of a West Stains massive, first appeared on Channel 4's The 11 O'Clock Show in 1998, and the voice of the youth, before the broadcaster gave him his own show in the early 2000s. Although Baron Cohen declared both Ali G and Borat, his Kazakh TV presenter and star of highly successful 2006 film, retired in 2007, both have returned. Running out of money there, Sasha? That's okay. Borat's subsequent movie film was released in 2020, While there were appearances by Ali G in the 2012 British Comedy Awards, in the TV show Ali G Resurrection, and the 2016 Oscars. Shot in secret, as per much of Borat and 2009's Bruno, which featured an Austrian fashion guru, the new Ali G film is believed to feature interviews with unsuspecting pundits. Previous audiences conducted by Ali G include a bemused Newt Gingrich and an outraged Tony Benn. Cohen's other credits include The Trial of Chicago 7, for which he was Oscar nominated, Sweeney Todd, The Demon Barber of Fleet Street, The Dictator, Hugo, Les Miserables, and the Madagascar films. His most recent movie, Netflix's gender swap comedy Ladies First, was poorly received by critics. His TV work includes dramatic series The Spy and Disclaimer, and the incendiary 2019 sketch, Who is America? I didn't hear about this. Ladies First. I don't really watch any of his film style, or the films he make aren't really something I'm interested in, so I've never really watched him. I have seen him in like his more dramatic roles, I suppose.
Parody of everybody, right? Parody of Foreigner.
Ladies First is a comedy inspired by the 2018 French film I Am Not an Easy Man. It stars blah blah blah. What is it about? Can you give me like a synopsis on the plot? Executive Damien Sachs is wealthy and chauvinistic, working for advertising agency Atlas. Bidding for Guinness's stout campaign for women, the client disapproves of their lack of women in power. Damien dishonestly claims a female creative director was recently promoted. Oh no, this is the entire plot of the film. I was looking for synopsis.
Oh, no.
No.
So it's a real
looking
film.
For a synopsis. And of course, it's a real film, but it wasn't received well by critics, I guess. Let's see if what the reviews say. The reviews say, well, no, some people are giving it gets a 5.8 out of 10 on IMDb, so it's like in the middle. Light and entertaining. Way too many people are taking this movie too seriously. I don't think you should take.
Ali G is not even a real person.
Yeah. Most male critics seem to think this movie is exaggerated satire. As a woman, I had the opposite reaction. Okay, so it sounds like critics didn't like the film because it was pointing out the hypocrisy for women and men or something. Mm-hmm. And then a lot of men got really salty. Like, that's not how it is like to be a woman or how to be a man. This is fake. This is made up. And then all the women are like, that is exactly how it feels. But how would you know how it feels to be a woman? You aren't one. Anyways, that's my story. It was very short. Weird and wackiness is coming through Ali G, which I guess the wackiness is we thought the character was dead, right? He said, I've retired that character. I'm never playing him again. And then he keeps on showing up in 5 different events. And then he's made a movie, supposedly. How much money? So. Yeah, exactly.
Maybe he's got some debts he can't pay. That's got to be it, right? Yeah. I'll put in a Bumblebee outfit, no problem. Whatever. There's that's my sarcasm. Is I hopefully in this movie he's interviewing AI versions of perhaps Rudy Giuliani and that corpse, the reanimated corpse of Mitch McConnell, who is dead, by the way. Mitch McConnell is clearly dead. They're keeping it a secret until August 7th. When it's too late to have a special, it's too late to have the governor appoint himself as senator. The governor of Kentucky is a Democrat. He could appoint himself as senator and serve out his term until the election. But after August 7th, he can't do that. So in 1 month, and maybe a few days afterwards, the Republican Party will declare Mitch McConnell's dead. Because he's dead already. He's doing the weekend in Birdies. Anyway, that's my little sarcasm.
He's brain dead, yeah.
Oh, I think he's completely dead. I think he's just.
The news I've seen is that he's brain dead, and then the other news I've seen is that doctors were saying that there's no way he will survive because people at his age surviving, like losing oxygen for who knows how long, don't usually come back. The probability is very low. Yeah. Here's
the facts. The facts are on June 14th, I believe it is, and I might got the date wrong, but June 14th, it was last month, the middle of last month, EMT was called to his house, and they performed CPR. CPR is no joke, right? CPR might bring you back to life. It's going to break your ribs, perhaps even collapse a lung, And you will get brain damage from not having any oxygen to your brain for the time you're dead before the CPRs. So Mitch McConnell is a vegetable at very best, probably dead.
Yeah,
and
that's
I just
what
wanted
saying,
everybody
though,
to
the
know
doctors
that
were just saying, like,
being
at
covered
that age, getting CPR is almost
Possibly being
improbable
covered
that
up.
you'll survive.
The same people who hid a sitting congressman for months and months and months and months, who was still alive but was undergoing treatment for depression. I don't want a guy undergoing treatment for depression in Congress. Period. End of fucking story. Go take care of yourself. We don't want you in Congress. It's very simple. But Republicans can do that. Meanwhile, the Democrats got to run somebody who's perfect every time. Democrat, he's got to be perfect. Oh, he's not perfect. Let's get somebody who's perfect, and that don't exist. So the Republicans will run whoever they want to, even a dead guy, and they get away with it. This country sucks. Anyway, that's my sarcasm. Sorry,
That's not sarcastic.
not to drag this show on, but that pisses me off that they get to have a dead guy in the Senate. A dead guy, a legitimate dead guy. I don't care if he's brain dead or real dead. He's dead. Dead is dead. He ain't coming back. He's not coming back. Not even as a zombie.
Our
Okay,
segue is haiku for this day in history.
By the way, his wife just went to frickin' Korea in the middle of this. What the hell's up with that? Just saying. You think his wife would be at his bedside? No. Oh, sorry. I'm too busy in my diatribe. Let me write that down. All right. This day in history. We're going back to, oh my goodness, Roswell happened on this day, if you know about that. But we're going back farther. July 8th in the year 1850, Louis the 18th returned to Paris following 100 days. Louis, get lost. Just because stinking Napoleon's gone doesn't mean we want a bunch of ruling class douchebags. I don't know why France ever allowed that to happen again. 1833, the Treaty of Hunkar-Iklisi, a defensive alliance between the Ottoman Empire and Russia, was signed in the village of Hunkar-Iklisi near Istanbul. So Constantinople, Turkey, 1833, trying to get together with the Russian Empire, which was growing back in those days, 1833. 1887, John L. Sullivan beat Jake Kilrain in 75 rounds to defend his title in the last heavyweight championship bout held under London prize ring rule. Yeah, 75 rounds? How do you lift your arms after 75 rounds? How do you even stand
we'll come back later or something? Like, what happened?
Yeah, they had to standardize it to maybe 15 max, 12 max, whatever. Yeah, there couldn't have been a lot of fighting in those last few rounds, but I think in those days they just fought until somebody just couldn't get up anymore. That's just all it was. 1889, journalist Charles Henry Dow published the first issue of the Wall Street Journal, keeping track of your money on a daily basis. 1996, William Jennings Bryan delivered his Cross of Gold speech at National Democratic Convention in Chicago, and William Jennings Bryan was completely full of shit. He wanted us to be on the gold standard forever and whatever. Anyway, William Jennings Bryan is one of those guys in the monkey trial who was on the wrong side, so fuck that guy. Philip Johnson, an architect and critic known for his promotion of the international style, and later first role in defining postmodernist agriculture, was born in Cleveland. And he's holding up something that looks very ordinary. I'm an architect. I make ordinary looking buildings. Oh, good for you, man. I can do that. 1950, Douglas MacArthur was appointed commander of United Nations forces in Korean War, one of the worst generals in the history of the United States. Douglas MacArthur was a complete joke as a general. He got popular after the Philippine War, the Philippines during World War II, because he came back to the Philippines after thousands of American troops in Philippines and whoever was in the Bataan Death March, because Douglas MacArthur left all of the aircraft out on the tarmac for the Japanese to bomb when he already knew that they had bombed Pearl Harbor. He could have pulled those aircraft in the air. He could have put them anywhere. He could have put them out to sea. He could have done anything. No! He left them out there to get bombed and destroyed so he could be a hero. I don't know what the hell his reason was, but Douglas MacArthur said, Jackass. 1996, the British pop band Spice Girls released their debut single, Wannabe, which will make them an international sensation. Tell me what you want. Tell me what you really, really want. I want you to stop singing. That's what I want. 2011, the orbiter Atlantis was launched in the space shuttle mission. The last space shuttle mission, the very last. That was it. We're done. We're putting it in mothballs, not literally. Our featured event, Vasco da Gama's. On this day, sailed from Lisbon with a fleet of 4 vessels and ultimately opened a sea route between Europe to Asia by way of the Cape of Good Hope, ushering a new era in world history. He found a way around South America. Good stuff. Kim Il-sung, the communist leader of North Korea, was born on this day. Yeah, he was one of them anyway. He was the leader from 48 to 94. His invasion of South Korea in 1950 launched the Korean War. He died in Pyongyang and was seen by his son, Kim Jong-il. His grandson currently in charge. Other featured event, Roswell. Oh, yeah. On this day, 1947, the Roswell Daily Record erroneously reported the previous day. Soldiers at the Roswell Army Field in New Mexico had recovered the remains of a flying saucer that had crashed at a local ranch. Although the claim was quickly refuted by authorities, the Roswell incident eventually became the center of flying saucer mania that soon gripped the country. You go to Roswell now, and that's all they talk about, even though it was a weather balloon. It was obviously a weather balloon, but the Army wasn't going to tell you that.
No, aliens are real. You can't say that.
They might be. The government is not going to tell you the real story. They would love you to think it's. They would love you to think it's a UFO because it, circumvents what they're really doing, right? So RAF captures flying. It says RAAF. I don't know what that means. Captures flying saucer on ranch in Roswell. I don't think it was the Royal Air Force. I don't think it was the British. Anyway, that's your thing that happened. Roswell happened. Other birthdays today. Bunch of people I never heard of. I will announce yesterday, because Britannica is a shit website now that puts birthdays and lists a bunch of anonymous people that nobody's ever heard of alongside of a bunch of actually famous people. We missed Ringo Starr's birthday, among others, yesterday. So I just wanted to say happy birthday, Ringo! Turning 85. I definitely don't want to skip over Ringo. He's still around. That's right. Still touring with his band, which is a concert I do want to see because he does hire a lot of famous rock and rollers to go on tour with him, and they play their own songs. People like Todd Rundgren or Edgar Winter, just awesome musicians. All stripes, touring with Ringo. And Sheila E. playing drums, so they have 2 drummers a lot of times. So those are your biographies today. I can't find anybody famous. Louis Jordan was an American saxophonist.
Nobody
saxophonist,
you know,
singer,
anyways.
prominent in the 1940s. No, I'm getting the ones I know, right? He was born July 8th, 1908. Died on July 8th, 1896. Wait. 1986. Let's see, 1896. Dyslexia. He died in 1986. Hyman G. Rickover was an American naval officer and engineer who, again, ran the nuclear fleet, and he was Jimmy Carter's boss. So Adam Rickover, I've heard of him. Hyman Rickover.
De La Fontaine is a pretty famous poet, but I guess you'd have to be poetry.
Right. Peter the Hermit was an aesthetic and monastic founder, a monk, basically. He lived by himself. His birthday. How do you know a monk's birthday? I have no idea. Anyway, those are your birthdays today. It's National Day Calendar. Let's do that one. It's a bunch of things today. Calendar's getting crowded. National Freezer Pop Day. Love me a freezer pop. You don't know what that is? It's Kool-Aid that you freeze.
Yeah, the one that come in the straws, the thick straws that you just freeze.
It's extra sweet Kool-Aid, by the way. It's mostly corn syrup. National Chocolate with Almonds Day. You haven't got diabetes yet, you can go out after that. Scud Day. It's Scud Day, and it does not about
The July
is not
8th is
about
Scud Day. Your
the-
open invitations to step away from stressful conflicts, toxic gossip, and overwhelming news feeds and replace them with pure light-hearted silliness. That's right. Go do something silly, like make your hair into a mustache like the picture shows, or paint half of your face blue and the other half of your face red, and then just walk around like that all day, or wear an entire outfit that's one color. And don't doom scroll, basically, is what it's saying. Do not doom scroll. It's acronym for Savor the Comic, Unplug the Drama. There you go. That's the Savor the Comic, Unplug the Drama.
Pure serendipity that it falls on a weird Wednesday. National Cucumber Salad Day. It's lots of food today. Cucumber salad, man. I'm growing me lots of cucumbers.
All in
we'll see
one
how they
thing,
turn out. It's cucumbers are repurposed in so many ways, right? And it's National Raspberry Day, so lots of food. So that's everything for today.
Oh,
and
no,
most
not that kind of raspberry.
Oh, I did that poor joke at the intro, but yeah.
I know. I just wanted to repeat it again.
And you now clean up your screen. Now your screen's all full of spit. National Raspberry Day, and it's everything. Your mispronunciations, you're not. What are you doing? Haikus or limericks?
We're about to do a haiku.
Haiku. Your preemptive haiku announcement for everything. Wednesday, July 8th on Before Cucumber Salad, raspberries, freezer pops, I almost said blow pops, and chocolate with almonds. Just go buy a Hershey bar with almonds. They'll take care of it.
All right, my haikus today are: silent desert skies, strange whispers in the starlight, secrets take to flight. It was a UFO, it was aliens! They took me up in the spaceship and I got probed. In shadows he ruled. Winds of war and fervor stirred. A legacy seal for Kim Jong-il.
They're all named Kim.
On Scud Day we laugh. Toxic tales cast far away. Joy's bright, lightened path. Yeah, most Koreans didn't originally have last names, and during colonization, they just picked last names. A lot of people picked the last names of the royal families from the past, like Kim or Min. That's why a lot of people have the same last names.
Well, China, I know the surname goes first. So, like Mao Zedong,
Kim is his
surname
last name.
Mao. We just call him Mao.
It's the same in Korea as well. Yeah.
That's what I thought it was.
Yeah, you're right. So. His actual name is Jong-il, but his last name is Kim. Yeah. Right on. Let's do. I guess that's it. I'm done. International UN observance. I did not actually look if there is one, and there isn't one. Okay, so we are free. That's the end. This has been Allison here from the Netherlands, and Roger from the East Coast of the US as we finish off a wacky and weird Wednesday. I hope you're bewildered as we are about the reality we live in. This is totally not a simulation. We will see you tomorrow for Thursday 13, in which we'll have a list of 13 things that we can discuss and argue about and say, that doesn't belong in there, or it does belong in there. What's the list?
I'll have something tomorrow.
Oh, you'll have something?
I'll think of it later.
Okay. Make sure you are subscribed to Before Coffee Podcast or on Twitch, Before Coffee Podcast on YouTube. Either of those places, both of those places, please, so that you are notified when we go live, post a video, and of course have our Thursdays 13 tomorrow. Thank you to everyone who's already here to chat with us and watch the show, and of course our Before Coffee supporters on Patreon. Here is our mic drop moment.
Today, someone can realistically make you appear to say something you never said, to endorse something you don't believe in, or even convincingly depict you confessing to something you had no knowledge of. For the first time in human history, the experiences we've always shared are no longer secure. Today, I'd like to speak about the abuse of non-consensual digital replicas of our voices and likenesses. For all of human history, if someone saw your face, they knew it was you. If they heard your voice, they knew you had spoken. For thousands of years, that simple connection was enough.
The whole world is just full of skinwalkers now.
Your voice, your presence, reality itself was
trying to scam you out of all the money in your bank account, or ruin your reputation, or
Artificial intelligence has begun to intervene
Pisses
and
me off
break
when I get
that
AI.
ancient connection.
Pisses
Our
me off when
relationship to
I get an
community
AI
is distorting,
of a
thanks
celebrity.
to a
Imagine
wave
how
of
pissed off the
technology made
celebrity
widely
gets.
available
Yeah.
without much concern
That's
for
not
public
me.
safety.
I don't know how you're allowed to
In
do
my
that.
line
said
of
why
work,
I
we
said
deal with
that.
emotions.
For
So on
all
behalf
the
of our
money.
performers, I'm here to tell
Yeah.
you what this moment feels like. To begin,
It's also
we make
really
our
harmful
livings
because
by
now
granting
everything
the
is
use
AI.
of our voices and
So
likenesses
it's like, oh,
to
this is
our
just
employers.
AI. It's not real.
That's
It's
what
actually,
they
it is
pay us
real.
for. Through every
But now
audition
even the real
and with
stuff
every
is being
career setback,
considered
we
fake.
know we rely on the fact that when the jobs finally come, we have something uniquely ours to offer. Now imagine a performer waking up one morning to discover on their phone a version of themselves that never was, but they're watching it, and so is the rest of the world. The voice
And they
and
all think
face
that's
are a
him,
perfect
and he did
match.
that, yeah.
For the performer,
This
it's a
isn't my
moment of
art.
terror.
I didn't do this.
Who is seeing it? Will anyone ever
If you go in
hire
the
them again?
comments, you'll
Will
see
their
about half of
reputation
them are
built
just
over a
response
lifetime
to
be destroyed
AI.
in a moment? Every casting director, every producer, every executive,
Easy.
every member of the
I don't
public
know.
can see it.
Mm-hmm.
Even their family may hesitate for a moment.
People that
They
never
can
blink,
reach for
never
something
pause,
deeper.
never take
He would never say
any kind of
that.
drink of water or
That's
anything.
not who
voice
she
never
is.
changes. My God.
But who are we? Think about anyone you love. Your understanding of them is built from memory. Imagine that memory being contaminated.
This is like
The
the
thing that
worst
brings us
version of a
back to the real
parasocial relationship,
person
right? You fall
is
in
our
love with the
faith in who they
fake, deep
truly
fake
are.
of an
In the
actor
world
that's
of
not
deep
real.
fakes,
Uh-huh.
the damage is
Right?
done
I mean, I
instantly
bet you
and
that
without
exists somewhere.
mercy.
There's somebody
The
writing
public
a
has no
chat deep
obligation
fake
to discover
where
the
you're like,
truth about
you can
someone.
talk to Brad
Just keep
Pitt all
scrolling.
day and look, he
Our
loves you,
members
and
have
then
no
you just lose
ability
your
to
mind
protect
completely and enter
themselves from this
psychosis
kind
because you
of
think that's
abuse.
reality now.
Neither does the
That you're
teenager
married to Brad Pitt and he
humiliated
loves
by a
you.
fabricated image. Neither
Yeah.
do
See the movie
parents
Her with,
trying to protect their children.
He falls
Neither
in love
does
with a
anyone whose
voice and finds
reputation
out she's
can be
cheating. And she's
threatened
not
by a
cheating,
digital
she's a
replica
voice.
they never authorized.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all she is, a voice.
Artificial
Nothing
intelligence
else.
is changing the
Oh
way
my, she
human
has so
beings
many other
experience
people she's
life.
with.
We all know
She's
that
not
this
real,
moment
dude.
demands
Not real.
wisdom and action.
You can't
Yeah,
expect a
Technology
robot
is not our
in the
enemy.
cloud to be
Throughout our history,
monogamous, by the
America has
way.
chosen both innovation and
This is where we're headed.
responsibility.
This is where we're headed.
Usually, sadly,
People
only
get
after
possessed
ordinary
by
people have
freaking
suffered
fake
some
world.
calamity. But there is a right path. It is obvious that civilization is in
real
the throes of a
problem.
Well, I don't know
technological
what to
whirlwind, the
do
likes
about
of
it,
which
yeah.
we've never seen. And as of this moment, Americans are
seems
being
almost
forced to
unstoppable
surrender
to
their
stop
basic
generative AI.
relationship to one another. We don't want to stop progress.
Yeah, we were talking about knowing these
We need to
refrigerators.
civilize
She has
it.
a refrigerator where you can
Many
hit a button
Americans may never
and you can
own a
stick
home
the
or
refrigerator,
accumulate
plus
significant
it connects you
financial
to
wealth.
every appliance in your
But
house.
every
It's
American
like you have
does
a screen
possess
on it.
something of
A real
immeasurable
refrigerator.
value,
It's like
their
the future
identity.
right?
And
That
it still
Don't
doesn't,
worry.
and it's still going to break
really
in 2
should
years.
belong to us.
One
And
day it's
surely
gonna
we can
turn
all
on you.
agree
Don't worry.
that no one else should be permitted to commercially exploit
your
our
food.
identity without
You're welcome.
consent. In the
I
world
have
of
called an
entertainment, our
exterminator
image
to
and
kill
likeness
you.
have been the
Oh, okay,
substance of
thank
our
you.
transactions, but in the wild,
There's somebody
we do
emptying a
not own them.
refrigerator. I think
We
they're the
should,
pest.
and you can make
Maybe
it so.
combat mode.
I have
Members of the
hacked
committee,
you
what I'm
and
saying about this moment
sent
and
out a
about
bunch
who
of
we
custom
are
messages to
is
all
that
your
every
friends.
human
Oh,
being
thank
should
you.
remain the author of their own
Ordered
existence.
5,000
Reality
orders of
should remain
melons to be
verifiable.
delivered.
Consent
Ordered a job
is not a
strike on your
nuisance.
job.
Reputation is a
No, thank you.
and truth is truth, and
Trump.
it's worth protecting.
Imagining
Thank you very
ordering
much.
George Jack-
Be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and notify buttons, and follow our other channels, Toxic Alley, History of Gravy, and Scratchy Old Records.